Tick, come here. Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick little video instead of trying to write down an email. As we know, he is a lapdog dog, no big deal. His first day here, right off the bat, I was finding myself really having to go out of my way to cheerlead and try to get his attention. And it was like force feeding him treats and things like that. So after our first session, I switched things around and I went to basically giving him the cold shoulder and playing hard to get. So I put a prong on him just because I could not control him with a regular leash or slip lead or anything like that. He was pulling my shoulder out and just kind of hurting himself, choking himself out. So I first wanted him to just kind of get used to this prong collar, understand the pressure. So our next sessions were just me walking up and down the road, and every time he started to move ahead of me, which was pretty much every couple of steps, I would just turn and go in the opposite direction. And then when he met the end of the line, he looked around and saw that I was walking in the opposite direction. So no corrections or anything like that, just he's meeting pressure. And it kind of offers a little bit of disorientation. So he's not able to go on autopilot and just blast ahead of me and go forward because he doesn't really know which way I'm going. So it inadvertently forced him to pay a little bit more attention to me. So once he started to notice when I was turning, he would stop moving forward and turn with me, which for usually that is when I reward and show them that's what I liked. But because I knew that I would probably fall right back into that, him ignoring me and me having to work really hard to get his attention, which is just, that only goes but so far until there's competing motivators, which for him he has a lot of those. So a competing motivator is just anything that he finds more interesting than what I have to offer, which again is pretty much everything right now. So when he would turn and meet with me, I just would keep moving. And I've been keeping that up where I didn't really give him a lot of attention. I want him to really crave my attention by just having we're literally just walking around, and every time he comes into my space, I turn and walk away from him. And I know that sounds sad, maybe, but I think he's used to everyone probably fussing at him because he's a big lug and he's just doing his own thing and getting into, just because he's bigger. I don't think, nothing that he's doing is bad by any means. It's just because he's a larger dog and crazy and hyper that it's much more on everyone's radar. So I think he's probably used to people kind of going out of their way to communicate with him and to get his attention and to pull him back into our wheelhouse and things like that. So I wanted to make it a point to just basically make him crave my attention by not offering anything. So today's the first day that I really actually know him really settle down and look at me and make eye contact with me. So now I'm switching over to rewarding attention to me, engagement with me, eye contact, whatever that form of engagement is. It doesn't have to be him staring into me, but if I move and he walks with me, I'm just gonna give him just a yep. So I'm introducing him now that he's able to process things that I say to him. I'm now introducing him to a marker system. So marker is just a cue or a sound that announces the arrival of food for him. So through repetition, we'll create an association between the two so that at some point when he hears that marker, he knows that food is happening. So then whatever he's doing when he hears that marker, that takes on that good feeling of food. So that's basically how I'm going to shape behaviors. Right now, the bar is really low. I'm pretty much just rewarding eye contact and him moving with me without meeting the end of the line, without needing any type of pressure. So we're just kind of hanging out back in the training room where it's quiet. I have my dogs, which you can't really see, but they're over here in their crates. They're just asleep. So there's not a lot of, there's pretty much no distractions. Every once in a while I know you cannot see, but in front of me, the wall is just a glass wall that leads out to Broad Street, the parking lot in front of Broad Street. So every once in a while, a person will walk by and he'll look at them, but for the most part, there's not a lot going against him paying attention to me. So I'm gonna use that to its advantage and reward any type of attention to me. So I'm just gonna play around with him a little bit just so you can see. I forgot my thing that makes my phone follow me, so I'm gonna try to stay within the frame. Yes. So I use the word yes as that marker right now. He'll have a couple of different markers, one being the word good and one being the word okay. Those are gonna be something that I use more so when I'm trying to build duration in each behavior. So we're not quite there yet. be mindful of not holding my hand out like this so that he's looking at me and not just following my hand around that he thinks I have treats in them. Yep, very good. Good boy. And I don't care what he does as long as he's just giving me some form of attention. There's a truck that just pulled up in front of us. Yep, very good. Good. My shoes are making squidward noises. Okay, very nice. And it's only Wednesday, so I'm not worried about him being a little bit behind or anything like that. I think once he actually understands that I have meaning, that we can progress pretty quickly. He seems like a smart guy that's going to pick up on things really quickly. He just has lots of squirrels in the brain, and these are types of things that can happen at home. Like I said, he's probably used to you guys saying a lot of things to him. If he's anything like how he is here at home, even slightly, I'm sure it's probably a lot of maybe fussing at him a little bit. He doesn't get fussed at here, but that's because they're allowed to pretty much do whatever they want to outside of the training room, obviously. Yep, good boy. So just moving around the house, and every time he comes around you, like I do a lot of making him get out of my way. Good. Anything like that where I'm not gonna cater to him. If he walks towards me, I'm not gonna get out of his way. I'm not gonna give him attention every single time he comes over. If he starts crowding my space, I just kind of walk into him like that, make him get out of my way. I think that that's something he really needs to learn how to do. These are all super fundamental things that I think once he understands and is respecting a little bit, everything else will just fall into place. Okay. Good man. Oh, the good boy. He's like, oh my God, you've never petted me before. I need all the attentions. But now that he didn't get any of it, now he's like, oh, I kind of like when you do that. Good. Yep. So yeah, that's where